How are y'all? Everybody good? Can we please give it up again for Jenny and all her shady comments? Thank you so much for sharing your story. Okay, so while I awkwardly try to get this mic on, we will get this thing on the road. Does this look really crazy against my outfit, y'all?
Yes.
I work in New York in fashion, and the last thing I want to be is up here looking crazy with a huge mic, like right by my mouth. It works, everyone? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, we're going to skip 2 slides. As Dean said, so my name is Kameron. I am a 2012 graduate here. I do live in New York City. I do work at Complex. I am head of video content in the branding department. I am a host, but I don't know the Kardashians, so let's just get that out there right now. The last thing they need is another rumor out there, so let's just clear that up. But yeah, it's really amazing to be here. I'm gonna step away from the podium. I like to have more conversations, and I don't want y'all to think that I'm here to preach you down or talk you down or anything like that. So I'm gonna step away and be a little untraditional if y'all don't mind. But one thing I really loved about Jenny's story is right away she drew me in and had me sucked in just with the information that she shared in the first 2 minutes. She talked about something that she experienced 10 months ago, and I really didn't plan, or not 10 months ago, 10 years ago, but I didn't plan on talking about this today, but sometimes when God has a calling onto your life, or God wants you to deliver a word, you have to deliver that word. So let me tell y'all what I was going through 10 years ago, right? So I'm 17, I'm trying to figure out what it means to be a man, I'm living in Wichita, I'm really focused on my grades and getting into a really good school like KU, and just all of these super fabulous things that 17-year-olds are focused on or that they're thinking about. One thing that was unexpected in regards to my world 10 years ago was I actually lost my dad. And it was really weird because as a kid, you don't think about those things, and you just think about just being a teenager and getting on your parents' nerve. You really don't think about losing a parent. But that was my story. That was what God had for me and my family. And yes, I went through all of the emotions that anyone would naturally go through when it comes to losing a parent. But I just really had to bounce back. And at the time, I really didn't understand what I needed to do in order to focus, in order to continue to go on, to do the things that I really wanted to do. I just took it day by day, and eventually I was able to start going back to school, and I became a senior, and then I turned 18, so I started to think I'm grown. So it was just a lot going on in my mind when I turned 18 and just senior year. But thankfully, in God's good grace, He brought me here to KU a year after, and I was able to meet so many amazing people. My best friend to this day, my ace, my almighty, I met the very first day of freshman orientation, and she came into my life and made an impact, and I'm so blessed that she's still in my life today. So thank to everyone, all the professors that I had, Carol, everyone who just embraced the young little black boy from Kansas who walked in here a hot mess and just nurtured me and gave me such a great foundation to learn and to figure out what it is that I wanted to do. And I was here for 4 amazing years, and I've been lucky enough to move on, go to New York. 2 weeks after graduating, I don't even think I had removed my cap and gown. It was just okay, you're off to New York. And I'm like, okay. So that's kind of what it was. And the big thing that I took from having to just jump right into it is you have to be fearless. With everything that had happened in my life up until, I guess, 2021, none of it was planned. It all just happened. But at the end of the day, when you are so committed, Carol, when you're really committed to something, nothing can take you off course. And that's what I had to remember, and that's what I want everyone to really take from this is when you are passionate, what is for you is for you. And it doesn't matter if you, unfortunately, lose a parent, you have a disease, or just whatever in life may feel like it could be a deterrent to what is your calling. You just have to stay focused, and God will take care of the rest, or whoever you believe in. Even if you believe in yourself, Miley Cyrus, I don't know. Whatever it is, just pray to that, and I promise you everything will be okay. So with this conversation, I really want to be able to talk a little bit about me, talk a little bit about some of the things that I've been doing in New York that I guess some people think are exciting. I'm going to talk a lot about my job because they, keep the lights on in New York. I do live in Manhattan in a 1-bedroom, so it is a little pricey. So I have to shout out the team that keeps me looking cute every day. So we'll talk a little bit about Complex, but I don't know if we do Q&As or anything like that, but I want this to be a conversation. Anything you guys want to talk about or any questions you guys have, I want to make sure that you guys are getting those questions answered. So this is me. That's a picture of me in black and white. Let's see if we can get the clicker to work. Okay, so this is really awkward. So with Complex, the marketing team, they work with all of our presentations. We're a visual company. There's 3 awkward photos of myself above my head. So I apologize for that. But this is just a career overview. So yes, I'm a 2012 graduate. As Dean said, I have worked with some really cool people, people that I really looked up to, people who I consider to be influencers. I know everybody has a different person. Not everybody loves Queen Anse, like she is my girl. So it was a great honor to be able to work with her and her team. And then a couple other people which we can kind of like touch on a little bit later. But when it comes to what I do, so when I first went to New York, I was a production assistant, down at the bottom, fetching coffees, grinding, hustling my way to the top. I then went on to work for Big Morning Buzz Live, which was a celebrity interview talk show in the TRL studio, so that was super cool, being a kid in Kansas watching TRL. And now I'm like in the windows like, I'm here, I'm a producer, hello! And that was about the reaction I got from all the people below too, so don't feel like you have to laugh. But so that was really cool. So I did that for a couple of years. I really, really love Viacom. It's a real flashy, cool place. It's in Times Square. It's so cool to like walk in. You feel like you're a Kardashian or someone grand. But after a while, I knew that I wanted more for myself. I knew that I wanted to touch upon different things in my career. I knew that I wanted to explore other revenue when it comes to, or other platforms when it comes to television, and even just being a journalist and a storyteller. So I left there. I went to Top Model. I started working with Kelly Catron's crazy butt. If anyone doesn't know who she is, she's the crazy mean one that literally calls herself like Hell on Earth or Cutthroat Patron. Like she's a mess, but I love her to death. She's super hard. She taught me a lot. So I did that with Top Model. Tyra was a big accomplishment for me because I'm a big Top Model fan. So that was cool. And then fast forward, I did a couple reality shows. I did Nick Lachey's show in Cincinnati that he did. I did some shows in Atlanta. Did some ratchet reality. Some stuff that I'm not too proud of. Like the last thing I want to do is like leave KU and then I'm like on TV pulling my cast members off each other, which happened. So I just wanted to make sure that when it came to my credits and came to my resume as a TV producer that I had experience doing a lot of different kinds of things. After I did that for a little bit, I got another really amazing opportunity, and that is to be the red carpet announcer at the VMAs for the 2013 Brooklyn VMAs, which was super, super dope. Again, just surreal, and that was all about just luck, being at the right place at the right time. So that's kind of like an overview of some of the things that I've been doing. Like I said, as I continue to talk, I'll, be able to share a little bit more, but I don't want to like bore you guys. And I also know from my speech class that I took here that you can't stay on the slide too long. So now just kind of talking about Complex. So funny thing with Complex is Complex was always the magazine that I always saw myself working at. It was cool, it was young, it was pop culture, it was sneakers, it was style, it was all these things that really spoke to me. I always loved fashion, even though, in Wichita I didn't have the best fashion sense, but I made Hollister work. And then, sports, like my brother, some people know, my brother's a former NFL player. He played in the NFL for 7 years. He just recently retired, and shout out to him, he's been inducted to the Kansas Hall of Fame for sports. Saturday, can't be there from here, priorities. But yeah, so I come from a football background as well. So Complex just seemed so right for me. It just seemed like the place that I felt like best suited who I was, my brand, and then the voice that I wanted to be able to have and the audience that I wanted to be able to reach. We like to call Complex the cultural GPS. Everybody now, I don't know, like for the young folks out there, everyone is like, oh, we do it for the culture and all of this, all of that. Well, we want to be that GPS. We want to be, when it comes to millennials and Generation X and Generation Y, that we were just like that place that they came to for news. And so we do everything from, we have the fashion magazine, which we're known for, but we have a really strong digital presence. We have a YouTube channel, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, Twitter, and we're dominating all of those different verticals. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into more of our verticals. So as I was just stating, so Complex at the top, that is what most people know us for, but we also have a little show called First Week Feast, which actually launched our video. The presence that we have is a show with Sean Evans. He's hot wings with celebrities. If you have not watched it, it's absolutely hilarious. That show, it's just crazy because everyone knew us as like this fashion magazine, right? And then you decide to have celebrities start eating wings, and now, because of that show, we have 50,000 shows, like way too many than we can even produce, but for whatever reason or somehow, we still do it. So we have Pursuit Feast, which is our food platform, and then we have Collider, which is entertainment and sports, or entertainment and movies. Rated Red is kind of like our Nashville, middle America, like, you know, country, let's blow up stuff, let's, you know, wreck our NASCAR cars and all that good stuff. Things that a lot of Kansans should know a little bit about. But Pigeons and Planes is our music platform, which is really exciting, and then Complex Hustle, which as Dean talked about, is my baby. The reason why Complex Hustle means so much to me is because I feel like for everything that I went through, and kind of even like bringing a full circle moment back to the things that I talked about when I first started this speech presentation, is everything in life that I feel like I really had to, that I really wanted, I really didn't have to work for it. You know, we were just basic black kids from Wichita, me and my brother. It wasn't like my brother was this tall, super stocky, fast guy who just, you automatically look at him like, you're a football player. He's not. I'm actually taller than him, and I'm probably at this point way a little bit more than him. But he really worked hard, and then when it came to me, I just knew that there was something special about what I felt on the inside, and I didn't care who didn't understand it. I just knew that there was more for myself, and I feel like I channeled that and I turned that into my hustle, which has led me to be where I am today. And so when I came to Complex, I was really big on, yo, we have this big opportunity and this huge platform to touch millennials and touch so many people who look up to us because of what we do. I want to make sure that they love us for our lifestyle, they love us for us eating wings with celebrities, but I want to make sure that they understand that they too can be the Diddy's of the world. They too can be the Todd McFarlanes, the Jimmy Iovine's, all these major people who make up the world of Complex. I just wanted a navigation system or some form of platform that allowed them with the tools to succeed. So with all of my celebrity interviews, I talk more about blueprints, and I talk more about how did you get to be where you are today. I talk more about financial literacy. I talk more about making like the education system and politics and policy and why these things matter. And for me, it's just one of those things that I think is just important. When it comes to everything that's going on in the world, regardless of what side you are, when it comes to the political climate or the things that are going on with like gun violence or bathrooms, whatever it may be, I just wanted to have a place where you can come and you can express that voice and we can have a forum and we can talk about these things. I don't personally believe that everyone needs to be out protesting, just like I don't personally believe that everybody needs to be in the courthouse or in the White House talking. But what I do believe is that we all have a story to tell and we all have a purpose. And Complex Hustle is what I believe is me giving back to the community, me giving back to the country. I want to be able to say, regardless of all the negative in the world, here's a positive platform for young people to be able to go and feel like that they belong and feel like that their dreams are attainable. So that's kind of what happened with Complex Hustle. And then the next thing is kind of like just our philosophy, and it's just like, you know, we're defining the video landscape and we're building the future of video. And to explain a little bit more about who we actually reach, so we have 54 million unique users. So one thing that's kind of cool about that is I think about like my hometown or the people that I went to school with, and then I think about coming here to KU, and then I think about going to New York and just being in like that melting pot of a billion people. And then I think about like, wow, at the end of the day, you still are a kid from Kansas and you have a platform that allows you to reach this many people. And I don't take that for granted, and I think that's really cool. And I think that it's amazing that in 2017 we have somewhere that can have this big of a strong voice and impact on the community. So we reached them with our video content. Back in November, we discontinued our magazines, so unfortunately, if you go to your local newsstand, there's no more Complex. But we still do the Complex covers, we still do video content, and we still do, like I said earlier, 101 different shows on a daily. Now, just to kind of talk a little bit more about what I'm saying, we're bringing the culture to real life. It translates into the masses, broadcast platforms, and marketers, engagement opportunities for consumers. So we're just like out here just trying to be lit and just trying to be that marketplace for people to be able to come to get information. So to explain more what I'm saying, and I hope the volume works before I even embarrass myself. Let me be by the volume in case I have to adjust. We'll see if this video plays.
It's incredible. I know what's on Complex.
We got all walks of life when it comes to hip-hop, pop culture, really just an excuse to have a party.
Because we trendsetters, of course.
Four times hotter than a house.
Don't let it rain!
What if guys did us
Jessica here for Complex News.
Major here for Complex.
Jake's reporting to you from Baltimore, Maryland.
Speaking to protesters the last few hours. It's actually kind of inspiring.
Wow! That's the hottest show on the internet!
This is the smartest thing he said thus far. Boom, boom, and then a little bit. Don't ever play yourself.
Now we got our own, so let's get a chopped cheese. No more Philly cheesesteak.
Hey, yo, Complex Hustler, salute.
As long as you're passionate about something and determined and don't take no for an answer, it tends to work out.
We're here in downtown Nashville, and you're watching Rated Red.
Listening to Deborah's Footage videos all the time.
All this is ridiculous.
What do you think about this? I'm talking about it soon.
Last week I was gushing about the Lego Batman and how great it was, and the movie was awesome.
I'd love you to take him, by the way.
What's up, guys? Jake's here with Picks and Plans.
No compromising, no trying to fit in with nothing else.
I just wanted to share it because I loved it. That's a wrap.
Yeah, so that's us. So as y'all can see, thank you. So as y'all can see, when it comes to what I'm able to do now, I'm kind of bringing both of what we do here at the J School from the StratCom and also the news. I am a host, I am a reporter, I am a journalist, and I'm also a producer, so I'm working with that side. But I'm also working for a company that was once known as a fashion magazine. So definitely the StratCom. I didn't take a lot of StratCom classes, but I'm working with people who did. So there's a lot of hybrid opportunities when it comes to the StratCom lane and also the news info lane when it comes to what we do at Complex. And y'all can imagine, from being here and just wanting to work in entertainment and wanting to work in like celebrity pop culture, you can understand why being able to be a part of a company like this and be able to produce content like that would be kind of cool for someone like me. So very, very grateful to be able to be with Complex. So now I just kind of like want to talk a little bit more. One thing that I think is like really important that I want people to understand when it comes to me, my friends, and kind of like what I'm doing in New York is, I feel like a lot of people like they get caught up in like the smoke and mirrors of like social media, or they like view me as someone who like just works with celebrities and who gets to produce all this like cool content. But really what it is like I said earlier, it's all about just storytelling and being able to use my voice in a positive way. Yes, I have like worked with some really cool people and had some really crazy moments, and I probably have stories for days of people that I've been able to work with. But for me, like I just take it all with a grain of salt, and I just try to take it really humble, because what's most important is that you're always thinking about like what's to come. I was talking in the class earlier, and I was explaining to the students that for me, I can never focus on exactly what I'm doing now. I mean, of course you gotta be paying attention to it, you don't never fall through the cracks. But everything that I do, I'm always focused on like the next two positions. I'm focused on like where this job is gonna take me. And I just feel like a lot of things in life require that approach. You always have to think big picture. When when I went to New York, it was never to be a production assistant. It never was to be one thing. It was to get myself to the place where I can have my own platform, where I can be a CEO of a company, where I can be an entrepreneur. And so when I'm doing things like working on Complex Hustle, I'm really like taking notes. When I was like doing Jimmy Iovine's interview, I'm like, yo, he created Beats by Dre, he created like Apple Music, all these really cool things that I didn't know. I would be a fool if I'm not soaking this up right now. So I just think that you have to be able to always be thinking about those bigger pictures. I can't always get so caught up in the moment, like, oh my God, I'm interviewing this person or that person, because 3 minutes later, that person's going to be gone. It's about what am I taking from that experience and how am I going to apply that to the next thing. And even to transition off of that is always like, you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready, people. Like, a lot of the things that happened in my life were not because like I had like all this time to prepare. I just had to jump out there and go. A story that I always tell, because I feel like a lot of times people ask me like, what's a celebrity that you really like, or what was your favorite interview, or who's a nightmare to work with? Kylie. Just one thing that I just always share, and I just look back and I'm like, wow, like, that was crazy, is this time, it was maybe like October something. Last year, I had to fly to Miami because Champs Sports decided to put an entire store, completely stocked, inside of DJ Khaled's studio, like a music studio. Not even his house, not like a mansion, like, oh, we give you a cute little sneaker closet. Like, hey, when you come to the studio to do music, we want you to have a store that's exclusive to you and all your friends. Shout out to him, that's lit. But they flew me out there to kind of like to check out the new space and to talk to Khaled. And Khaled is someone at this point that I've interviewed like 5 times, right? And so I kind of just like went in and I'm just like, okay, Cameron, just do what you need to do, get on the flight, and go about your business, right? And then the publicist was just like, yeah, so just hang out, make sure you just capture the content, you know, just be a fly on the wall, like don't really be too much in the scene, but just capture what you can and then get out, right? And I'm like, okay, cool, like I've done this 100 times. But she's also like, yeah, and there may be a couple people who may stop by, so I can't, you know, really like say who, or I can't really like tell you exactly, like you'll be able to get interviews with people, but just know there's gonna be some friends that are stopping by. I'm like, okay. And so I'm like doing my interview, like everything is good, everything is Gucci, and the next thing you know, I'm just like, oh, there's a lot of Entourage members in here. Whose friends are these? Oh, you're friends with Mace. Oh, Mace, you're here. Oh, wow, I'm a huge fan. Oh, you're not with him? You're Nas? Mace, 1 second, Nas is here. And little by little, all these really, really amazing, dope people just started to come into the room, right? And then in the end, I looked up, and Diddy himself is walking in. And I'm just like, okay, this is a real boss man. This man just sent me a lot of money to launch Complex Hustle because it was presented by Ciroc. And I'm like, I really can't mess it up. Because the moment that he realized I'm in here, he's going to be like, don't F this up to me. And I'm like, you got it, boss. So he comes in, and then like all of a sudden, I now have to interview DJ Khaled and Diddy in front of all of these people. And I'm like leaving out a lot of names. Like Dave East, Trina, all these other like big influencers, Tory Lanez, all these guys are in this small kind of like little studio, dead in my face, and I'm like, okay, I am a journalist, I am a J-Hop, I can do this, Cameron, don't F this up. And so, it's just like, I have been able to be blessed to interview some really, really cool people, but to be amongst so many really, really big influencers and have all of their eyes on me, it was a lot of pressure. But what I took away from that was, if I wasn't confident with myself, I never would have been able to face my fears and to interview someone like Diddy and DJ Khaled in front of all these people. And I mean, when Diddy talks, the room is silent. So we're talking like all eyes were on me like Tupac. Like it was real intense. So that was really crazy. But like I said, you've got to be ready. You never know what opportunities you're going to get. You never know who's going to come to the door. Me as a producer and host at Complex, celebrities stop by just to stop by. And at a moment's notice, it's, Cam, we're going to go on a Facebook Live with this person. Cam, we need you to sit down. Cam, how quickly can you have your camera up? I've like chased Snoop Dogg in Long Beach all around the city because his manager's like, yeah, we're here, come through. And I'm like, okay, I'm here, but where are you? Where are you at? Outside your door. Where's the camper? Okay, cool. So it's just like everything is always changing. It's a fast-paced kind of industry, and you just have to be able to keep up with it. But one thing that I feel like has allowed me to have the longevity that I've had for a very, very short 5 years of doing what I'm doing is just understanding that, hey, your timing is your timing. I don't think I'm anywhere near where I really, really want to be yet. But I'm very content, I'm very humble, I'm very blessed to be where I am today. And at the end of the day, if for whatever reason something was to happen to me, I'm cool, like I'm good. But you just have to understand that you have to respect your journey, you have to be patient, you have to be able to really just like focus on yourself, which takes me to my next slide, and put you first. When you're at certain points in your life, like you kind of get focused on what the next person is doing and what your homegirl is doing, and test score was better, or she got into the J school a year before I got into the J school, so I feel like I'm a little bit behind. It doesn't matter. As long as you really understand what it is that you're doing, it can take you 20 years. Respect that process. Every step that you take closer to your goal, appreciate it, learn something from it. A lot of the things that I learned from the celebrities was, yeah, I knew you were great. I knew you made millions of dollars. You sold thousands and billions of records. But what were the failures? What were the lessons that you had to learn? How many times did you fall? What were the things you learned from those falls? And how have you turned those things into victories? Because that's really what is going to make the next generation of entrepreneurs, going to make the next generation of boomers and the next generation of really dope influencers that we all will come to respect and will allow me to retire a little bit early. The next thing is to curate and to create. I say this because it's important to understand your brand. When I moved to New York, I'm not gonna lie, I was a poser, I was fake. I'm like, okay, I'm here, I don't want nobody to know I'm from Kansas, I'm gonna be a Brooklynite, I'm gonna walk in, I'm gonna dress a certain kind of way, I'm gonna talk some kind of way, and I'll be good. Didn't work. I stood out like a sore thumb. Every time I open my mouth, where are you from? I'm like, oh, I'm in Harlem. Where are you from? I'm like, Kansas. They're like, of course, yes, the Dorothy jokes always follow, but I had to just stay true to who I am, and over time I've gotten a lot more comfortable with the way that I dress, or the way that I talk, or I'm okay now being the youngest guy who is one of the video team leaders at a company. Those things are okay, but I understood my brand, I know what I'm offering my company. I'm not saying I can offer the world all of these things, but I understand how I'm valued in my workplace, and you all have to understand that too for the juniors and seniors as you're starting to apply for other things. You are a product. Own it. Master it. When you get out there, hey, nobody sell you better than you can sell yourself. So you just have to really remember that, and you have to look at yourself like you are your producer, you are your editor, you are your host, you are your face, you're your stylist. Because until you really make it, baby, it's going to be that for a long time, so you might as well get used to it. And then the last thing is the 3 Ps that I like to say, which is plan, produce, and be patient. We can always plan. It never hurts to plan. But you have to make sure that you produce. You have to execute. You can pray all you want, but unless you are out there actively doing it and going after it, that's all it's going to be. It's going to be something that you just put into the air, boom, boom, bam, wait another 4 or 5 years. I did not want to be that. I wanted to be someone who people could look at and say, yo, he go get it. Like, he go gets it. He's a hustler. He's out here like really grinding to make a difference, to make an impact. And that's what everyone has to do regardless of what it is. Set goals and just go kill them. Just go tackle them. It may take you 20 years to go make that goal a reality. That's fine. Respect the journey. Understand the hustle. Understand the struggle. And then the last thing is just be patient. There's so many things that like I've shot and then just sat there and haven't even came out yet. Or there's things that never will come out. Or there's things that I want to do that I haven't been able to do. But at the end of the day, you just have to understand everything takes time. So I know that for some of you, you may not get the call back that you want to get a call back for next week. But if it takes you 3 weeks to get it, or it takes you 2 years to get the internship or the job you always wanted, that's fine. You just have to be patient. You just have to really wait it out. And then for everyone who wants to send me an email, I think it's important that we continue this conversation. Me being here means so much to me because it allows me to be able to come back and say, yo, I'm here for you guys. I would love to be able to help in any way because I appreciate the amazing influencers and mentors that I had here. So for whatever reason, if it's just to talk about my experience in New York or how I just transitioned from being in Kansas, please feel free to reach out. Please email me. My social's up there because I know nowadays the email is like the old thing to do. You can slide in my DMs. It's okay. I do check them. So if you have a question, please feel free just to reach out. But I definitely want to thank KU and thank the J School and everyone who decided to come and to listen to me. It really means the world to me, and I really appreciate it. And hopefully we can continue this conversation and continue to be great friends, great Jayhawks in the real world. Thank you.